So today I woke up feeling, really undone. After we've all exhausted Netflix and chill for the past, 100 days, I needed a change, don't we all? And so what I did is I turned on some music, music, the sound of music is powerful. Music is magnificent. Music is a mood changer. Music is magic. It changed my whole perspective, I was listening to, some Bob Marley. I listened to some Sade, Maze, Sounds of Blackness, Luther Vandross, Journey, William Murphy, Fred Hammond, Curtis Mayfield. I cooked and I was just feeling fabulous. Well, a lot better than I was before I started. So, I cooked, I meditated on life, etc. Thought about our current situation during this pandemic, lockdown, and I thought about the future. And as I was thinking, I was inspired to read, this passage of scripture. It's in Ecclesiastes, the third chapter. And I'm going to read it for you. There's a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to uproot. A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to tear down and a time to build. A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to embrace. A time to dance and a time to scatter stones and a time to gather the stones. A time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing social distancing, go figure. A time to search and a time to give up. A time to be silent and a time to speak. A time to love and a time to hate. A time for war and a time for peace. There's a season for every purpose. You cannot control the weather, but you can prepare yourself for the change of any season, right? And in this season, we have to recognize the time is ripe for progress. I know some have suffered some major difficulties during this time, and that's a part of life. Major heartache, major financial difficulties. Many have suffered the loss of family, friends, and loved ones. The fact of the matter is that you cannot sugarcoat pain and suffering. You cannot sugarcoat pain and suffering. My father died several years ago, and that pain, I have to tell you, really never goes away. That pain sometimes it catches you off guard. You could be, at work, and it just catches you. So I understand that pain. That type of pain never goes away. And all we can do is actually focus daily on making ourselves better. In other words, use that pain to assist you to progress. Although it may seem dark, it may seem fearful, depressing, desperate, painful, lonely, and sometimes you might even feel like you're about to go insane. The truth is, this is a reason and a season for newness, for greatness, for grace, for goodness, and for favor, and for blessings. Despite all that's going on, I wanted to focus on some positivity. I read somewhere that you reap whatever you sow, right? That means now is the time to plant seeds. Now is the time to break up the fallow ground in your life, the proverbial fallow ground that you have around you, and plant. For some of us, this is like a sabbatical, right? A time to reflect and to rest from our toxic work schedules, right? Nothing more irks me more than an individual that just stays busy just because, Busy does not mean that you are actually being efficient. So for me, the toll of working long hours needed to come to a halt. Quite frankly, I needed to chill, rest, revive myself, right? I needed this downtime. And I'm sure some of you, many of you also do as well, right? I needed detox time, rehabilitation time. And it is time. I needed that chill time. So if not now, when? It's time to bring forth the best of all that we can be. Bring it, right? The time is now. The story is told of a farmer who was down to his last proverbial leg. He had plowed his field, but a drought and with little seeds and little resources, the harvest was not looking too fruitful, right? Future wasn't too fruitful for him, pun intended. In fact, the change at achieving a harvest at all was little to none. His workers had left him, his family abandoned him, even his wife left him in this dreadful hour of need. I mean, how much worse can it get, right? Though destitute and in despair, downtrodden, depressed, and discombobulated, in his desperate desperation, he decided to plant despite and against all odds. He didn't have many seeds, but he had already what? Plowed. He'd already prepared. He'd already plowed and broke up the fallow ground, and he planted the little bit that he had. The few seeds that he had, he decided to plant them. And quite frankly, actually, he planted some, and others, he was so frustrated, he just threw it into the wind. Listen, just like this farmer, many of us are bitter, broken, frustrated, and we have lost hope, and many of us have also lost a sense of purpose. I want to let you know that this is what I call the crossroad. This is where the quantum leap occurs. This is when you realize the pain of the current moment is a bridge. See, a lot of people go and think that the bridge is a place where you jump off of. No, the bridge is a transitionary period. It's a transition period between one road to the next. So understand that the bridge is to make you and to help you go over troubled waters. So this is that bridge. That moment when you want to give up is the tipping point, where greatness begins and pressure becomes refined. The suffering and pain actually become fuel. It becomes jet propulsion to navigate beyond the storm. It's a place and position where right now you can understand that you filter the pain for progress. Use your pain to use it as a pressure to progress. So the farmer woke up the next day and he made up in his mind that he was going to water his seeds. The story, moral of the story is, in 2 to 3 weeks, the situation changed because the actual seeds began to, that he had planted, began to bud. You reap what you sow. Take this time now to relax, reset, reflect, renew, revive, renovate, refurbish, reestablish yourself. This is the time and place for everything to be made new, and time is certainly of essence. Thank you.